I'm James O'Dea, and I've been a non-profit leader, director of the Washington Office of Amnesty International, director of a foundation that Ram Dass founded, the Seva Foundation, president of the Institute of Noetic Sciences. And now I am liberated from those responsibilities and doing work around global systems initiatives, around peace and reconciliation, dialogues with Palestinians and in Northern Ireland, doing workshops and conferences on sacred activism and on the nature of our time, really linking personal and global transformation. When I was growing up, I was brought up in a Catholic environment, but I never really related to Jesus as the crucified being. And the projection of that into the world, then as I grew up into adulthood, I even more found more problematic that this story was pushed and promoted in a certain way to the exclusion of other stories. And I found myself in my inner world more relating to the story of Krishna, of the incarnation of the divinity as the one who comes and plays the flute, who sings the song, who lures the being out of war into peace in some celebration of life. So it was that celebration of spirit of Krishna that called me, and that I found somehow I couldn't see in the story of Jesus. And then one day somebody said to me, "Do you know why the statues of Krishna are deep, dark blue?" I said, "No." And they said, "Well, actually the word Krishna means dark, dark blue. And he is dark blue because he has drunk the poison of the world. He has swallowed the poison of the world. That's why he can play this music. That's why he can play this flute. That is the song of return. It is the song of celebration. It is the mystical song of our recovery of all that was lost. Because he swallowed that. That story reconnected me in some ways with that Jesus story of, so that's what Jesus was doing too. He was swallowing the poison of the world. And I immediately started to connect at a very profound level in my own journey as someone who has worked in places of war and massacres and with victims of torture and with former Nazis and Holocaust survivors. I've looked very, very, very deeply in my work and my experience into the poison of the world. And I think my responsibility is, having seen that poison, having worked to end torture and suffering and worked for the transformation of human consciousness, is to sing that song that says, as horrible and devastating as it can get, there is something in this whole design of the universe that says, I am immortal, I will return, I will not be ended, I cannot be destroyed, I am spirit arising out of the ashes of all of this destruction. And by convening that spirit of celebration with a knowing, with a knowledge of all of the terror, of the depth, of the devastation that is possible, we can in reality meet the reality moment, not as a fantasy moment that I want to play the flute and make it all sweet, but that I can know, going through the heart of wounding and suffering, that wounding and suffering can be healed, and that the music is not a trivial music to call us out of the depth of that pain and suffering, the travesties of war, the building of nuclear weapons, that is a deep poison. And so the music that is required to transmute that poison is a music that must know all the notes, it must know all the resonances, deep, down, and high. And so in my own work, in some ways, that's the music I want to learn from my elders, from my teachers, from the wisdom keepers. That's the music that I think it is our responsibility to try to sing, to play, to hear in the cosmos itself. Music coming back to us that says, there is wholeness that you can return to.